Here we go. So welcome everybody to our class number 6 of the D module in our English for Logistics course. Coincidentally, our last class in this course, and we are excited to welcome you one more time. And our teacher, conductor, and leader, Mauricio Sebastiani, is going to take it away.
Thank you so much, Simon, for that introduction. And it's always a pleasure to be here. And we as teachers, this is what makes our jobs worthwhile, when we have people listening to us and giving us feedback on how we can improve and make a better learning process. So with no further ado, let's jump into our last class, and we can review terms and topics that we shared during this module: international negotiations and contract analysis. But before that, I forgot, we had some homework that we would like to discuss with you, and in a high note, the Daniel's presentation from last class. And we'd like to, if you had the chance to look into these questions and share with us your perception on, for example, the logistics keywords that sounded very familiar into your ears during his presentation. You can open your mics, and we can rush right into that.
He talked about forwarders, freight, freight quotations and negotiations. Can't remember if I took note of everything. Fuel surcharges, KPIs,
SLA, especially how we
yeah.
must to manage with our buyers, how we need to conduct the negotiation, be kind, also
treat everybody with respect.
Yeah, so that's actually what we're asking on number 2. What were some hints on negotiations that he presented to us? Like you said, be nice.
Keywords, demurrage, it sounds like that, yeah.
Demurrage, yeah.
What else, Bruna? Freight forward,
keywords. He
SLA, KPI.
Yeah, but what other hints? Like, let's jump into question number 2.
Okay, number 2.
Since you're already bringing that topic.
The negotiations.
Yes, for example, hints. He talked about, one of the words that he said was about leveraging, right? And this is a
leverage.
That's a very important concept in negotiation, and also using that in your favor. And I think that was a big hint for us, right?
Also, building a network.
Yes, he told a lot about building a relationship, because all negotiation is based on in how to construct, to build a relationship with your customers.
Yes.
Yeah, he said something like, maybe you have to do a quotation, a spot negotiation, but don't treat that as a negotiation only. Build a network, like build a relationship with that person. Maybe in the future you might help this person, or this person might help you or others around you with anything.
Yes, and it's a good way of showing to you the other party that, hey, if I choose you today, I want to choose you every time I need this demand. So it's that idea of long-term relationship, right? That makes this whole scenario of negotiating and obviously writing contracts as well, right? But he also gave us some hints or best ways to manage, for example, since he's a manager of Home Depot, he gave us some ways to manage operation contracts. Do you remember things that he said, you know, when you are at this level of negotiation, things that you can use?
Regarding contracts, he said to
And negotiations. Right?
Mhm. To always let everything clear, very well detailed, to avoid hidden costs.
Yes, he told hidden costs.
Yes, and once again, here we have the word leverage for he offered his partner to do the freight for his outbound, so he could get more control of his inbound operation by selling outbound freight to his suppliers. So this is wow, this is something that we talked about that in module number 3 about buying CIF and selling, buying FOB and selling CIF, right? So this is also a form of controlling your supply chain, right? And well, finally, anything else that you want to add regarding the content that he shared with us related with contracts in his presentation?
Teacher, I think for me it is everything clear. It is just mainly based on how to build a good networking and pay attention and all small details, the clauses, with everything clear.
Good.
I
What
think
about
it's
you,
that.
Bruna? Thanks, Karen. Very good.
I would say when he said you have to know your operation to the fullest, I think this is one of the most important for me, in my opinion, because if you don't know what you're doing, you will barely get a good negotiation.
Yes.
I worked with a person in the past that he was like my supervisor. He had a lot of struggle understanding the product that our company offered. He started working there after me, but he couldn't do anything to get better. He just wanted to go to places to represent the company in other countries. And the whole company felt that he wasn't the right person to do it. He wasn't able to do it. He would say the name of the products all mix it up, all wrong. He was not representing us. So I think knowing what you're doing, getting to know your business first is a key.
Perfect, Bruna. Perfect tip.
And this is well. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yes, because we need to know what we are selling or
Or
which
buying.
buying. But in my opinion, mostly we must know what we are selling, and they also a good knowledge about our company as well.
Yeah,
Expand our mind.
I'll go a little bit further, Laura, just to conclude that thought in a way that is not know what you're selling, but know what you're offering. Because when you see that big picture, you can see the inbound freight until the last mile delivery, right? So what you're offering, you know, you're not just getting this box in China and delivering in Ponta Grossa here in Paraná, right? So I mean I think that's what we cover this whole course, and just to conclude, the idea of the things that he said was about international relations, right? When you are in the international world business, right? You're not only dealing with Americans or British, you're dealing with Indians, Chinese, and all parts of the world. So I think also having this cultural effect concept give us even more knowledge, right? To go there. He's in the United States, he's from Brazil, and he's performing just like an American, right? So this is what we expect that you could, learn, and as you grow in your career, that you get more familiar with the situations, right? Okay, so all right, so thank you. Let's move into our module review, where we basically just bring it to you, the important topics that we discuss. For example, in the first class, we talk about the difference between purchasing and procurement. Okay, this is a very important. Go ahead, Bruna. Did you raise your hand?
Yes, sorry. Daniel also said about quarterly business review, QBR.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask if this is a common term, or
Yes.
it's something like for the United States where he is
No,
located.
this is actually mandatory in most multinational companies, because QBRs are not only related to evaluating suppliers. You do QBRs to evaluate your own results. So all the multinational companies I work for, they had the QBRs where they reset the direction that the company was planned for, right? So QBRs are very common in multinational companies today. In Brazil, it's kind of like getting to the mindset of the companies, but in the United States, and I mean, most of these companies, they're actually mandatory by auditing firms as well. Okay.
Okay, and it's always this QBRs, because I remember he was telling it can be done by month or every 6 months. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the period.
Well, yes. I mean, there are KPIs that you control it monthly, right? But I mean, I think that he was talking about with negotiating with suppliers, right? But I mean, QBRs are pretty much the standard report and the standard meeting that usually they perform. And also QBRs are used for companies that have stocks. The QBRs are they're an official way to report results to the market. Okay.
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 Thank you.
All right. So moving along here, we discussed about the concept of procurement and how this is very important today. It's a bigger picture, not only regarding purchasing or contract negotiations, right? Procurement is a concept that is turning to one of the main pillars of multinational and larger companies today. Okay, we talk about the procurement principles, what's the environment that you create, like, obviously value for the company's money, fairness, competition, efficacy, transparency, integrity. So these are this is the environment where good procurement occurs. Okay, we talk about the strategic sourcing and how important they are on kind of like being the operational side of this procurement concept, where you have your process, like defining requirements, conducting market analysis, right? So all these process that helps the company to, or the procurement team to offer a better solution for the company. We talk about benefits, obviously cost saving. I mean, come on, cost saving we've been talking about since first class, right? So, I mean, it's obviously about cost saving, quality improvement, risk mitigation. Wow, we talked so much about that. And being aligned with the business goals, right? And so, and then we started to see the broader terms on negotiation, how they are seeing their role in procurement, right? Some techniques that we discuss, right? The best alternative, anchoring, win-win negotiations, right? And negotiation tips, that's very important. So this is the overview of a procurement mindset. Class number 2, then we started getting deeper into contracts, and obviously contract management, right? It's a very important concept, QBRs, as we talked today. And then we started getting to how we make contract analysis. We talked that a contract is a legal binding agreement, so this is a very, and to be enforced by law, they have the elements, okay? And these elements, we basically were our guidelines for class number 3, where we looked into thoroughly into contracts, real contracts, and we could identify this information, right? And as we can see in class number 3, we saw the elements of each of these parts of the contract, the background, the considerations where you have price and payment terms, the agreement, okay? The agreement is a very important thing. Sometimes we focus on the scope of the contract, but agreement is a broader term, okay? And obviously the attachments, that they're easier places to find more detailed information. We talk about obligations, how we enforce SLAs, KPIs, payment obligations. We talk about jurisdiction, which is important in international contracts, where what it will be the court that will run this case if we have a demand, and obviously termination, where we enforce that. Knowing the terms of termination are very important, because when you have the knowledge and the cost of terminating a contract, then you can put that in a scale with other options that you have, that your company might find more interesting after 1 year, 2 years, right? So the termination clauses are very important to know right away. And class number 4, we talked about, we had the negotiation exercises, the 2 videos where we showed to you 2 situations where we could find ourselves in a daily business, negotiating with the customer, or negotiating with important terms that sometimes might be forgotten in whenever the contract was written, right? And then we talked about the stages of negotiation, okay? Please, when we talked about negotiation, okay, when you really want to feel prepared for a negotiation, it doesn't matter if it's a bigger or a small one. Try to set these 5 steps before you get into the meeting, okay? Because that will show that you are connected with what the goal of that meeting is, okay? People will listen to you. People will give more credibility to you when you prepare for the meeting, when you know the needs of your other party. Obviously, be open. Keep your eyes open obviously in the opening stage, where you break the ice, you have the coffee, you have the little tour in the warehouse, okay? So use that in your favor, okay? And then we start to the negotiation first phase where you explore options. We already know what we want. We already know what they're offering. So can we just look a little bit outside of the box for a minute? And then we start bargaining, where offers and counter offers happen, okay? Try not to miss this step. And then the closure, which is so important as all the other ones. Elements of international negotiations, where besides all these elements of contracts that we see, we still have the usual negotiations on Incoterms, the transportation, the terms of payment internationally. So this is also very important. And we finished up with the don'ts on international negotiation, right? Don't ignore cultural differences, don't rush the process, don't be overly aggressive, don't neglect details, okay? And finally, for our final class, we talk about best practice, okay? Best practice of contracts, where we give it to you guidelines where you will be successful on doing this business, right? Understanding the purpose. If you can explain it, you didn't understand it, okay? So make sure all these stages are clear. Okay, read the entire contract, okay? Take it to the bathroom with you, okay? If you have to. But I mean, take some time and you have to digest it. And then when you start identifying the key clauses, keep them to yourself until you think that's the best moment, okay? Check for ambiguities, which is also common as well in contracts, especially international ones. Legal compliance, obviously, and don't commit yourself too much on this in a way that try to, when commenting on these issues, always try to refer that you as just an advisor for a legal team, right? Because they know a lot about compliance. Obviously, about the risks and liabilities, where we said that that's where you can get more knowledge and value to your services. Analyze termination clauses and failing to conduct the best practice. That's what we see every day. Okay. So, any questions? And if you are ready, we can start our assessment. No? Okay. So, all right. So I'm just going to stop sharing here my screen, and I'm going to share with you the link for our assessment. Obviously, you're already familiar with that. Make sure you read it very well, the questions, make sure that you understand it, and take your time, okay? Obviously, this is the last course, so the questions tend to be more complete, answers as well, so just take your time to read it, okay? So I'm going to share with you the link, and we will start the clock. All right. Just one second. There. All right.
Have a good luck, Bruna.
Okay.
Thank you, you too.
As usual, between 20 to 30 minutes, but I mean, you do well. Good luck.
Thank you.